Still, specialists, doctors, I have to see, like a lung doctor and, heart doctor. So I'm not completely in the clear.
So Tammy Slaton has reached her goal. Something that we found out last episode, that she had finally reached her goal in terms of the weight that she needed to be able to have surgery. But of course, she still needs to see several amount of different people before that can actually be approved, purely because she's had a long history, sadly, of failure. A long history of always never making it to where it needs to be, and always pretty much reoffending her crimes of gaining weight time and time again. And these are things that are very important for people to know. And it's crazy because when you watch a show like My 600 Pound Life, you would expect them to actually touch on these little things just a bit more. I say little, my apologies, on these big things a bit more. Because I think when you're watching 600 Pound Life, it's good that we get to see a process. It's good that we get to see a journey. But we've got a whole hour and 20-minute episode, but yet they don't actually touch on the complications that the body's going through. They don't touch on all the experts that the patient should be seeing. They just show us, I guess, what they show us. Well, they spend the first 5 minutes of the show literally showing them bathing naked. Yeah. Priorities, right? But either way, though, when it comes to My 1,000 Pound Sisters, here, as you can see, My 1,000 Pound Sisters, when it comes to 1,000 Pound Sisters, it is nice to see that Tammy has this moment of time to say, yeah, but even though I've reached the weight, there are still these things here that have to be taken into account. You know, and these are things that are important because for the people who are near enough around maybe Tammy's weight, or maybe on the road to that weight and just don't see it coming, I guess these are the things that you have to listen out to, because you got to think to yourself, if you put yourself in a position where you will end up needing to have surgery, don't think that getting that surgery is going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3, because if your body has gone through so much hell, there's going to be things that are also going to come into place as well. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with the rest of the episode, please do start off by hitting that subscribe button. And in case you don't know, I do react to the full episode of 1,000 Pound Sisters, as well as other TV shows on my Patreon account down below, okay? Full episode. And again, like always, I don't pause the video 1,000 times. I legit just let it play, if you dig what I'm saying. But with that being said, let's see exactly what went down with Tammy and the rest of the family in this week's episode of 1,000 Pound Sisters.
I walk in, the house is kind of messy the way I left it. And I'm like, all you did was play video games, you didn't pick up a broom. Must be nice having a vacation. Now I gotta clean up after Gate.
You know, so many times we've called out Amy because of her lack of cleaning the house. But also at the same time, we've also acknowledged the fact that she does have a husband. She has a partner who can also be doing the same thing. Now here's the thing though, when she gave birth to Glenn, the husband now, on the other hand, ended up getting COVID. And because he got COVID, he went back to the house whilst Amy went and stayed with Amanda in the meantime, whilst, of course, she could wait for her partner to finally get the clear. And he is now in the clear, and that's why they're able to go back home. But you think, though, for someone who's now got a newborn child, you know your new son is coming home, you would think that he would spend that time cleaning the house and making sure that the environment for the baby is correct, rather than be on his video games. But also at the same time though, given the fact that I guess Amy was pregnant, but here's the thing though, let's say Amy was someone that generally kept the house clean for the most part, as well as Michael's helper as well. Of course, you would think that it would only be little cleaning needed to be done when they got home, because obviously the original plan would have been for them to get home from, giving birth together. Obviously that didn't happen, but you'd think that even before that, the house would have been clean beforehand anyway, because the house really and truly should always be tidy and always be clean, especially when you do have children. Now, of course, I know that it's not easy to keep a house clean when you've got children. I may not have children, but I know a lot of people with them, and I also used to work with them. And trust me, you clean a classroom, next thing you know, it's dirty again, because some kids don't know how to keep clean. If you dig what I'm saying. So to be honest with you, I think the thing that Amy really should be reflecting on here is two things. One, you got a husband that ain't helping you, so you need to check that and you need to fix that. And two, that your home really and truly should be quite reasonably tidy anyway for the most part. But hey, some people, man, let's get into it.
So have you been trying to get back on your diet?
Yeah, but when I can eat, you know how babies are. I haven't really.
You know how babies are. It's quite crazy, don't it? Because we just say this every episode. Each time the family comes together, what happens? They have a freaking barbecue. it's more infuriating. It's more infuriating because it's what Amy says moving forward about, getting back on it.
Now that I had the baby, I know I got to get back on track. Being morbidly obese is extremely hard taking care of two boys. I can barely keep up with Gage sometimes, and now I got Glenn on top of it.
Remind me something, but didn't she say exactly the same thing when she had Gage? I'll let that marinate for a second right there. So are we now to believe, or no, most importantly, is Amy now to believe that she's going to do things differently now she finally has her second child? Does she honestly want us to believe, or does she want herself to believe that she's now actually going to get back on track? It's crazy, man. There's some people in this world, they live in this fantasy, in this delusion of like, I'm just going to keep saying it until it happens. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter how many times you say something. It's never going to happen until you actually make it happen yourself. Stop saying it and just do it. Doing things is what gets shiz done. Saying things is what gets nothing done, because it is merely nothing but just words. But it's okay though. Amy will continue telling us this. And Amy is still that same sibling that would happily continue to throw Tammy under the bus every time Tammy does well, and even when Tammy doesn't do well. But to make it worse, when Tammy's doing well, Amy, her support is very suspect.
My 2-year-old eats better than we do.
Well, but if you're feeding your 2-year-old good stuff, then that's what should be going into your mouths too.
My diet's okay, but what about yours?
I have literally cut out the snacking.
You see the way Amy's bounced back, but what about yours? Like, the conversation isn't about Amanda, though, is it? The conversation is about you. If you're feeding your child well, so why are you not feeding yourself well? Not that I say that I actually believe that. I don't believe that to be a factor to the slightest. I don't think that she's feeding her children well personally. I just don't see it. Amy complains about the fact that she found it hard to be a mother to one child. She's already complaining that now she has 2 children, okay? And then also on top of that, she's already complaining that her husband doesn't even help her that much anyway with anything. So you're telling me that Amy has the time, okay, to make food for herself that is unhealthy, but also make food for her child that is healthy. Am I meant to really believe that that is how the situation that she has that time? Because I'll tell you what now, if she's got time to make 3 meals, so of course her meal, her husband's meal, and her son's meal, and now obviously the third son's meal, and she can make their meals healthier. Well, if she's got time to do that, then I'm sure she also has time to make sure that the house stays in a good way, and also has time to tell her husband to step up as well. Yeah, too many loopholes. You see, here's the thing. You can't bullshit me. It's never gonna happen. I see through all the BS. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we continue.
It's really hard because Gage is crying. Glenn is getting mad and wanting another bottle. And that ain't doing.
I mean, it's not actually funny. You got 2 kids now. One's crying, one's wants a bottle, and daddy ain't doing nothing but stuff in his face. Is that really something? Is that really? Can we really call him a dad? Can we? Because really and truly, at this moment in time, he should want to drop his food and tend to one of his boys. And whilst Amy can maybe do the same thing. But she has just given birth, so maybe give it the benefit of the doubt where he goes and tends to at least one of the boys, and then the rest of the family who's there can help the other boys. At least. And it's crazy though, because one of the things that Amy alluded to last season was that she was afraid of being a bad mother, being a bad parent. And it's crazy because whenever she says these things, she always says as if she's only referring to herself, because she expects herself to be the only parent to her boys. She never necessarily says, I don't want us to be bad parents. I want us to always, you see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that there's a flaw in her saying that she is always referring to herself as just herself, but it's clearly showing that she definitely doesn't rely on Michael to do nada. Not a freaking thing.
But yeah.
You're not supposed to be doing by yourself. You are married and have a husband, and he is supposed to be being a dad too.
So Amy has a meltdown. She has a meltdown because she's worried about being a bad parent again. So she did it last season, she's doing it in this season. And the reason why she's worried this time is because she's upset with the fact that she's not able to aid to both boys at the same time. And now she does say that luckily that she's around a big family who are obviously able to help her in this situation. But again, that is not the biggest problem in the situation. The biggest problem is that her husband is there and he's not doing anything to help her. So that's why obviously Amanda had to tell her, listen, you're not alone because you're married to someone. And it's funny though, because Amanda is someone that was married to Michael's brother, you know what I mean? Until obviously things didn't work out. And I am very interested to find out though, if Amanda sees certain traits in Michael that she saw in her partner that then led her and her partner to no longer be together. It would be quite interesting, because if she can see those traits, well, then maybe she might be like, listen, you need to nip this in the bud real quick, because trust me when I tell you, it's going to get worse, because I was with his brother for many years and it only got worse, which is why we're not together anymore. But the difference is, though, between Amy and Amanda, in my opinion, is that Amanda is someone that has somewhat of a backbone to be able to stand up for herself and, you know, be like, I'm going to walk away. And also has the ability to have a certain level of value for herself to know that this ain't the person I need to be with. You know, I mean, I can still get someone better. Amy doesn't have value. I don't believe Amy believes that she can go out and get a man. I don't think she believes that she can go out and get a man that is better than what she has. To be honest with you, the fact that she met him through pretty much Amanda in a nutshell, to be honest with you, I'm not saying that's how it went down, but that's how it's always come across. It tells me that clearly that was just a luck for it to happen for them too. And to be fair, he's probably in the same position where he thought, we just have each other because I guess no one else is going to want us. And I think when a relationship is based on people being together, based on just, well, it's just us two, so might as well get on, that is not good. Because then in the end, one of you ends up being relaxed and the other one ends up doing whatever they can to make sure things always stay tight. But that is very draining and it can wear someone down. But again, I'm not saying this is how their relationship is and this is how it's turned out. But if I'm looking at the proof in the pudding, can't really tell me otherwise. But anyway, we continue.
What do you think it would take for us to get Tammy out here?
A forklift.
You see, this is my issue with Amy, and this is my bone with Amy. You know, I don't understand why she always feels the need to always be horrible towards Tammy. Whether Tammy's there or not, she always wants to be coming in with these shots, and I just don't understand why. Like, it's not needed, because we have to look at the dynamic of this family. We know that communication isn't necessarily the best. We know that manners isn't their best thing, you know what I mean? And we also know that these two sisters grew up together pretty much attached to the hip. And fair enough, I guess obviously they've had that banter for so many years and they've had that energy, but understand this though, ladies and gentlemen, behind every joke, there is always an element of truth. And I just think that Tammy right now is at a stage where she's kind of moved on. She's trying to really do what she can to get herself in the best position possible to lose the weight and to be the best version of herself so she can go off and also have kids and all that kind of stuff. And Amy, on the other hand, for me, is someone that hasn't progressed. I feel like Amy is still stuck at whatever stage it is, whichever phase it is. And that phase is not healthy, because I don't think Tammy is going to be coming back into the fold with the same mentality. In fact, I don't think Tammy has been in that position for a long time, to be honest with you, of the insults. Even though she's always given it back, let's just understand that when these insults come in though, predominantly in my opinion, it's always been Amy that's always triggered them first. Amy's the one that's always gaslighted first, especially for looking at season 3, you know, obviously to now season 4, if you ask me personally. I think in season 1, yeah, it was a bit of tick for tack, if you dig what I'm saying, right? So I just feel like Amy needs to drop it now, you know, because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Who I was last year isn't who I am now if I'm no longer in the same position that I was in last year and I'm now in a better position now. Let me just break that down for you. If you met me a year ago, okay, and I was in a certain position where I was always a clown, I was always joking around, but I didn't really have much going on for me, right? But now a year later on, I'm not joking as much as I was before. I'm not really a clown as much. I'm not really a clown, to be fair, for the most part anymore. And now I've actually got things going on for me. Do you think that my mentality is still the same as it was back then to is now? Do you not think that I've now matured since then? Or do you not think that I've now evolved to a better version? Or do you not think that I'm now on a journey to be a better version of me rather than be the same loser that I was the year before? So this is the problem that I have here with Amy. Amy is still in that process. She, for some bizarre reason, in my opinion, gets a kick out of always saying horrible things around Tammy. I reckon that it makes her feel better about herself. You know, as long as Tammy's bigger than me, whatever, I'm going to be good. That's just my own personal opinion, because I just don't understand why she always has to do it. Like, there was no need for it. Right now, the family is trying to have a positive conversation about Tammy. You know, they know that she's going in the right direction with her journey. So they're trying to have a positive conversation about it. But Amy always has to come in with just a comment of negativity, you know. And I said this last episode, and I'll say it again. Amy is definitely Tammy's biggest trigger, you know? And honestly, the worst thing that Tammy could do is come out and then, you know, spend more time with Amy again, because Amy has always, I mean, look at it this way. Whenever Tammy has got her angriest, for the most part, Amy's generally there. I'm just saying though, ladies and gentlemen, there's a time in life where we have to mature ourselves. And I just feel like Amy is someone who's now a mother, you know, and someone who claims to be on a new weight loss journey. So she now needs to mature herself, you know, because even, let's say Tammy was still the one that was the gaslight. Let's say Tammy is the one that's coming in at Amy and saying this and that, right? Does it mean that Amy always has to scoop herself to that level? No, because you're now an adult. You now have responsibilities. You showed us last season that all you cared about was the responsibility you had to your family. Well, then do it. I'm just saying there's some people, sometimes when they're not happy with their own household or unhappy with their own life, they just feel like it's okay to take it out on someone else. Whether that person deserves it or not, doesn't matter. Grow up.
But you ain't even gotta be like that. She said a forklift. Now, girl, just imagine her after surgery.
That's it, boom. I like the fact that Amanda slammed her down. Amanda slammed her, said, what do you mean? What? Fuck, no. Just imagine. Amanda's taking control of the conversation and she wants everyone to stay on that positive wavelength of like, no, we got to think for the best of Tammy, you know, what's going forward. That's why I like Amanda, man. She knows how to take control at the right times. Very level-headed for the most part. Has many flaws, but sometimes she comes in very, very good. I love to see it. And Amy had to be put in a place at that moment in time because it's unacceptable.
Tammy's changed. Her mentality is different. She puts off a different persona, or aurora, whatever you want to call it.
You see, I like the fact that Chris is acknowledging that Tammy is no longer the same, that Tammy has now evolved. She's not the same person she was before, you know, she wasn't the same person she was at the end of season 3. She's a whole different person. But here's the thing though, Amy hasn't even been there to even see Tammy for the most part anyway. But either way though, Amy has her own journey and her journey should be the same. It should be a journey of being better. Some people think, oh, because I lost weight and you didn't, I'm now better than you and I can now take the piss out of you even more. No. Just because you lost weight before, which you've now botched anyway, it doesn't mean that you don't have a journey that you have to continue to becoming a better person as a whole. Losing weight does not make you a better person, Amy. Also, that mental stage of you is also a factor. But Amy's mental stage is still the same, because if it wasn't the same, then why would she lose weight to then get pregnant before even reaching a goal, and then to then gain weight and then have another child when she still hasn't reached her goal? That is someone that didn't even plateau. That is someone that just had an agenda and now is like, it is what it is. That's not someone that mentally changed. Tammy is someone that is generally changed. And I like the fact that Chris has acknowledged that. Brilliant things to see here. It's good that the rest of the family, or the most of them, are on board. But like I said before, the biggest gaslighter herself in particular, she needs to get on board. And not for Tammy's sake. She needs to get on board, she needs to get on board for her own sake. For her own motherhood's sake. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man, don't mess about.
You can just tell that she's dealt with some of her demons. But is she becoming healthy enough to be approved for surgery?
And that is what we are about to find out. Did Tammy finally get approved for surgery based on everything that she had to be checked on? But hey, let's get it.
Let's do surgery. You're approved for surgery.
Oh, check mark. That's it. That's it.
You know, I really liked Tammy's cool, calm demeanor. You know, she found out she's finally approved, but she's not like crazy about it. And the reason I like that is because it tells me that she knows that this is just the beginning. She's like, I'm happy I finally made it here, but I've still got a lot of work to do, even after that surgery. Still got a lot of work to do. I like that. That's what we should be seeing. I hate it when I see these TV shows. Someone gets approved for surgery, they're like, yeah! I'm like, raw, like, you do realize the surgery isn't a reward, right? Like, reward is just another step into your journey. The reward is when you make it to the end. Love the journey, but the reward is at the end. Do not behave as if the middle is the reward. It's not. Do not behave as if the surgery is the answer, as if it is the one that's going to be the miracle worker, because it is not. But of course, appreciate the journey in a humble way. I see Tammy appreciating the journey in a humble way. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. But listen, I'm a person of tough love. You know what I mean? I'm one of these people. You know, if I'm on a mission somewhere, you know, it's like, for example, I have certain goals with YouTube and whatnot. So each time I hit a milestone like 10K, 20K, 30K, People be like, yeah, man, well done, congratulations, you got there. For me, I'm like, I couldn't care less about the congratulations. I'm not where I'm at yet, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping myself in my lane. You know what I'm saying? Because my lane is bigger than this. You know, I got goals to get to places. Obviously, for the people who don't know, for this year, the goal is to get to that 100K by the end of the year. You know what I mean? And to be fair, I say that though, even when I get there, I'll probably be like, I got there now, but now I need to get 200K still, man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't it just yet. But hey, man, I'm on this people, man. I have to keep pushing. You know what I mean? I hate the feeling of feeling like a plateau. Do you know what I mean? Some people say that I struggle with appreciating shiz, but it's not true, because if I did, then I wouldn't be out here traveling every now and then enjoying my life. You know what I mean? I do appreciate it. I just appreciate it in my own way. I just got to make sure that the goal is in the right place. And that's something that I'm seeing for Tammy here. And I really hope it's something that's going to stick with her for the long run now. But of course, the season is still young. And, you know, we've got to see, obviously, what else happens, you know what I mean, in terms of whatever goes on. But either way, though, you guys let me know exactly what you're thinking down below in the comment section, and we can most certainly talk about it. No, please. Wrong button. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and the whole shebang. And also Patreon, link is down below in the description.